Theater circles are abuzz following the leak of a security camera video from an EVITA rehearsal, reportedly showing Rachel Zegler, star of the production, being escorted off stage against her will. The footage, now widely circulated among industry insiders, captures a tense confrontation that ends with security personnel approaching Zegler from both sides before leading her away, as cast and crew look on in stunned silence. What's most striking is the atmosphere in the video. The music abruptly halts, movement on stage stops, and a heavy stillness takes over. An eerie pause that sources say was not part of any dramatic staging or rehearsal technique. According to individuals close to the production, the incident was the culmination of weeks of rising tension between Zegler and the creative team. It's a surprising turn of events for the actress, who had initially expressed nothing but excitement about taking on the iconic role of Eva Peron.
Yeah, well, we're busy, of course. EVITA opens at the Palladium this summer, so we're collaborating with Jamie Lloyd again following Sunset Boulevard. Well, Rachel was desperate to play Eva Peron. You know, it was her idea.
In early interviews, Rachel Zegler spoke about the role of Eva Peron as transformative, life-changing, and deeply meaningful. Her social media brimmed with behind-the-scenes glimpses and heartfelt reflections on the historical weight of portraying such an iconic figure. For a time, it looked as though EVITA might mark a powerful turning point in her career, an opportunity to move past earlier controversies. The media largely embraced her casting, fans voiced their support, and genuine excitement surrounded her involvement in the production. But something shifted. The enthusiastic posts faded. In their place came cryptic captions and an unsettling silence. Behind the scenes, sources say Zegler began privately describing the rehearsal environment as unsafe and hostile, allegedly using terms like creative gaslighting in leaked messages that eventually surfaced on fan accounts. Where she had once praised the collaboration, she reportedly began framing the process as restrictive and oppressive. According to some insiders, however, the tension may have had less to do with the environment and more to do with expectations. EVITA is known for its rigorous ensemble demands and breakneck pacing, far from a one-woman showcase. Zegler, they suggest, struggled with the realization that the spotlight would be shared and that the production's rhythm required tight coordination and discipline. As friction grew and stories began to circulate, her team reportedly moved into damage control mode. To industry watchers, the pattern feels familiar. Zegler had previously thrown her support behind projects like Snow White and Shazam! Fury of the Gods, only to later express discomfort or criticism as public sentiment shifted. This time, however, the fallout wasn't limited to PR. It pulled in real people, castmates, crew members, and producers, many of whom felt blindsided by the increasingly public narrative. From the outset of rehearsals, things reportedly felt off. Sources describe mounting tensions, Zegler arriving late with shifting explanations, challenging directorial decisions, and proposing alternative staging. What began as creative pushback soon turned into a deeper rift, one that would eventually culminate in the now infamous moment caught on video. There were early warning signs. According to one tech crew member, Rachel Zegler began modifying choreography without approval, turning even basic lighting cues into lengthy debates. Director sigh. Jamie Lloyd, insiders say, found himself spending more time managing emotions than refining the production itself. As tensions rose, the cast began adapting in troubling ways. Ensemble members quietly requested to be repositioned away from certain scenes. Audio technicians tweaked levels to accommodate spontaneous vocal changes, and the collaborative spirit that defines theater began to fracture. Then came the breaking point, a high-stakes run-through attended by producers and financial backers. Just minutes into the performance, Zegler reportedly halted everything, voicing dissatisfaction with the lighting, costuming, and even the color palette. Crew members scrambled to respond, only to discover moments later that Zegler had left the building entirely, without explanation. Sources say this wasn't an isolated event. The walkouts became a pattern, leaving the team on edge and the schedule in disarray. At a certain point, Director Lloyd stopped speaking to Zegler directly, choosing instead to deliver all notes through assistants or stage managers, a highly unusual move in professional theater, where director-actor communication is typically sacrosanct. Behind closed doors, the creative process gave way to damage control. Legal consultants were brought in to examine Zegler's contract, recasting options were explored, and the production quietly began accelerating rehearsals with the understudy. The once vibrant rehearsal space reportedly grew cold and transactional. Cast and crew arrived, did what was necessary, and left, often in silence. Many wondered whether the show could even survive. Word of the turmoil spread quickly through London's tight-knit theatre scene. Though the West End is internationally famous, its professional circles are small and reputation-driven. Concerned casting directors began exchanging messages, not questioning Zegler's talent, but raising flags about professional reliability. The situation prompted a broader industry reckoning. Agents and producers began re-examining Zegler's past projects, connecting dots that previously seemed unrelated. Missed press appearances, tense interviews, public back and forths on social media. What had once appeared to be isolated incidents now formed a troubling pattern. One casting assistant allegedly remarked that Zegler was now on watch, not blacklisted, but approached with notable caution. In a recent Broadway casting meeting, her name reportedly triggered an awkward pause. Decision-makers seemed reluctant to assume the perceived risk. Perhaps most telling, young performers who once cited Zegler as a source of inspiration were now quietly distancing themselves. Vocal coaches, according to one insider, have even begun referencing her story as a cautionary tale about managing fame, expectations, and the fragile ecosystem of live theater. In the wake of mounting controversy, Rachel Zegler didn't remain silent, but she also avoided addressing the specifics. Echoing her approach during the Snow White backlash, she took to social media with poetic, emotionally charged posts about holding space, healing through chaos, and choosing grace in unsafe rooms. While these messages resonated deeply with loyal fans, they left many industry professionals frustrated, seeking accountability rather than abstraction. Zegler has often reframed professional conflicts as broader conversations about empowerment and personal growth, a strategy that has, in the past, helped deflect criticism and recenter the narrative around resilience. But the current situation, tied to concrete production delays and significant financial repercussions, is proving more resistant to artful captions and indirect messaging. Zegler's rise has been both rapid and uneven, discovered by Steven Spielberg. And cast as Maria in West Side Story, she appeared poised for superstardom, her vocal power, emotional nuance, and screen presence drawing widespread acclaim. But in the years that followed, complications began to mount. Shazam! Fury of the Gods underperformed at the box office, and her public admission that she took the role for the paycheck drew backlash from fans and studio insiders alike. During the Snow White press cycle, her critical remarks about the original film, calling the animated classic creepy and dismissing the prince as useless, alienated segments of Disney's core audience. EVITA was meant to be a return to Zegler's artistic strengths, showcasing her exceptional voice in a prestigious theatrical setting. Instead, it has reportedly become another entry in a growing narrative of difficult collaboration. According to industry insiders, Zegler's team is now advising a strategic reset, pursuing smaller roles, independent films with established directors, and limited press commitments, projects where she isn't solely responsible for a production's commercial weight. Zegler's talent is not in question. Her vocal ability and emotional range remain formidable, but as one casting director put it, talent gets you in the room, reliability keeps you there. In an industry where productions hinge on collaboration, consistency, and trust, behavioral concerns, especially those that disrupt schedules or damage morale, can outweigh raw ability. At just 23, Zegler still has time to recalibrate her trajectory. But Hollywood has a long memory, especially when it comes to disruptions that carry financial and reputational risk. What makes her current situation so compelling is the stark contrast between the promise of her artistry and the challenges surrounding her conduct.